Hey, Dustin here, Smoking Eagles Rod Shop, and in today's video, we are going to be rocking out. And by rocking out, I mean working on the rockers on my Buick 455. Now, if you've got a Buick 455 at home and you need to replace the rocker arm buttons, I'm going to show you how to do that in today's video. It's simple, it's not very hard, but it can look a little, I don't know, intimidating. I'm going to get you comfortable. I'm gonna get you in there and we're gonna get the job done. Now, why am I replacing the buttons on this engine? Well, we have a burnout car, Carmen Electra, and we run higher RPMs for long periods of time, generates tons of heat. Rocker arms are in there just, you know, doing their thing. And we definitely don't want old, worn out ones that are brittle. They've been heated and cooled many times for many years. And we don't want any of those to fail on us and cause us any problems, especially when it matters, you know, when you're trying to get that $8 trophy. So, I've already changed them all on this side of the engine, as you can see here. I prefer the buttons from TA Performance because they're basically factory replacements. They're perfect. You can get them from some of the big box stores. You can look them up on the internet. They're less than $1 a piece. The black ones are smaller in diameter, so they're going to allow your valve train to move around a little bit more. That's why I don't really recommend those. But if you're in a pinch, you're in a bind, let's say you pulled your valve covers off because your gasket's leaking and you happen to notice that one or two of your buttons is broken or missing or crooked or something, you're like, oh no, what do I do? You can go down, buy you a couple of them or order some, get them sent to you from Amazon. I may put a link in the description if I can find them on Amazon for you guys in case you need to get those. But you can grab them, slap them in there, and be back on the road. They're gonna be perfectly fine for stock setup and, you know, driving around town, going to car shows, stuff like that. But if you're doing high RPM stuff, you wanna run down the drag strip, I recommend getting the better buttons. I mean, the price difference is literally pennies, and yeah, you just gotta wait for them to show up. No biggie. Now, over here on the other side, these I have not done anything with. You don't need any special tools or anything to do this. Just a few simple tools that you got laying around. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Let's get right into it. So to remove them, I just use a couple of screwdrivers, a bigger one and a smaller one. You're also gonna need a little pick because they have a tendency to knock these little shavings off when you pop them in. And you definitely don't want any of those bounced around in your engine, so I use a little pick to kind of get them loose, pull them out of there. You're also going to need a pair of needle nose pliers. You're going to need a punch of some kind. You can also use a socket that is the right diameter for your new buttons. You're going to put it right on there. You're going to tap it down on there. I prefer a punch just because it supports the whole surface of that little button. Your socket's got a hole in the center, so it's kind of just pushing on the outside of the button. I don't know, you're kind of running the risk of breaking the button, I guess, when you're putting it in, and you don't have any extras. So now you can put them in without a heat gun, but I recommend a heat gun. It makes it a lot easier. You heat the button up just a little bit, it kind of softens that plastic up, and then when you put it in, for one, it goes in a little bit easier, but for two, when these little shavings come off, you usually only get like one big shaving, maybe two big shavings. If you don't heat them up, you'll get little chunks. You'll get 2 or 3 little chunks in there, and then you gotta try and dig them out, and sometimes they take off on you, and you're like, whoa, where'd that go? Did it go down in the motor? I don't know. So you'll be a lot more comfortable if you have a heat gun. You can heat that up and stop that from happening. So let's go over to the other side of the engine. I'll show you how to pop these things out, and then we'll go from there. So here we are. The center of this shaft is hollow, so if the end of one of your buttons breaks off, you can get it out of there. Now, you do have these bolts that go down through here. If it's in between those bolts, it's a lot trickier to get out of there without taking your rocker arm assembly off, which is what we're trying to avoid. You know, we don't want to have to take that off if we don't have to. It is doable. It's not a huge deal, but your rocker arms, you got to deal with your push rods and all that other crap. We don't want to have to do that. We want to try to avoid that. So what I like to do is get a big screwdriver down underneath the bottom side, little thinner screwdriver on the top side, and then I just kind of work down on that just a little bit. You can see that button's just popping right up out of there. Sometimes you got to twist a little, and boom, there it is. You can see it came out in one piece. Didn't break, chip. There's no chunks of it down inside there or anything. Super easy. Just make sure that your screwdrivers are cleaned off because you don't want to get a bunch of garbage down in there. Let's do the next one. Oh, sorry, bumped you there. That one popped right out, just like that. Now, these are coming out real easy, and that is another reason why I am changing these. Because if they're falling out that easy, just imagine this thing at 3,500 or 4,000 RPMs. And that little button is just gonna fall out of there with a flat screwdriver. Well, a couple of flat screwdrivers. So there I'm just working back and forth on each side of it. Just kind of putting a little pressure until it pink pops right out of there. Here's the next one. And if they start to get stuck or they feel stiff, don't get aggressive with them. Just work back and forth. Sometimes you got to push it back down in there a little bit. Let that plastic kind of bend out of the way. You can push them down in there and you can rotate them. You kind of get the plastic in a different location. Kind of get that baby to pop up out of there. This one's about to pop out. Come on, you're right there. It's kind of hard to pry right here with this plate in the way, but this one's in there. Almost. Come on, little guy. Working himself out of there. Ow. That one came out. Ugh. And didn't break. Of course, I smashed my fingers, but hey, it's the name of the game. Can't win trophies if you ain't got skin in the game. I know, my hand still hurts, but it's fine. So, same thing again. Just keep right on trucking. Get all these babies out of here. There's the next one. Just a few more. And we'll be ready to start putting the new ones in. That one just fell right out. So did that one. Look at that. Now these end ones, you kind of want to be careful. You don't want to slide that off the end of that shaft. Really, it shouldn't, because your push rod's in there and there's probably pressure on it. Like this one doesn't have much pressure on it though. So just be careful. I don't think it can come off of there, but about the time I think that, ching, it's gonna shoot across the room. Okay, there's that one. All right, so we got those all out of there. I'm gonna go grab our supplies, move them over here so they're a little closer, and we'll start putting the new ones in. So we've got our buttons here. All I do is grab my needle nose pliers, just like so. Turn on my heat gun. And then I just stick her in here and rotate her around slowly like the old rotisserie until I see the very edges of the ribs on the button start to get soft. And then I know she's about the right temp for where we're going. I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. It does not take long. And if you're thinking, oh, you're gonna heat those up and destroy them or alter the plastic, just remember, these are sitting inside an engine that's gonna have super hot oil pumped all over these things all the time. A little bit of heat from this heat gun is not gonna hurt these things. They're gonna be subjected to some serious heat for their entire lives. Okay, So you can see that's nice and warm. I'm just gonna dip this in a little bit of oil. Set this button right down in the hole. She's pretty warm. I could touch it, but I don't really like to because it's warm. You want to line her up good. Just like so. Give her a tap. Usually takes about 2 to get her seated down in there. That one's good. Right there's that little chip that I was talking about. And you really want to look around it and make sure there aren't any more. You can look from the top side and the bottom side there and just get those out of there. Now that's what I like to use this little pick for. I like to get right down in here. And I can pick those up out of there. See how that kind of goes down in the side of there? Sometimes they're trapped underneath the edge of that button and you don't want to pry that button up. You just want to kind of work on this little piece of plastic and kind of get her broke free and then just pull her out of there. Just like so. And I'll double check down underneath here, make sure there's nothing loose, because we don't want that floating around in our oil pan. It is plastic, so it's probably not going to ruin your cam or anything crazy, but obviously you don't want it down in there. So let's do the next one. If you're wondering how I make this stay on, I just have a little rubber band that I made out of an old bicycle inner tube. And then when I'm not using it, I just slide it down, but all you gotta do is push it in, pull it back. And then she's automatically on. Again, you can see. Perfect. Turn this off, all I gotta do is pull the button out. Same thing again, little dab of oil just to help her kind of slide in there. Just like so. We get a little chip on the back side and we got a little bit of one on the bottom side here. So I'll get you guys in here so you can see that. It's right up in there. See that little chip right there? Got that one out. There's another little one there. And it looks like there's one right here. On the back side. Yep. So grab those. There's that one. There's that one. Look like little fingernail trimmings. It's kind of gross. And there's another one. And then it's just rinse and repeat. There you have it. It's that easy, that quick, that simple to replace those plastic buttons on your Buick 455, 400, 430. They're all the same, I think. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informational. I hope it gave you the courage to work on whatever you're working on. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends. Remember, we've got merch available and we have a membership program. So yeah, if you're interested, check that stuff out. If not, thanks for stopping by. It's all good. I'll post some other stuff around my melon here, things we're doing around the shop. Make sure you go check that stuff out when you get some free time. And I'm gonna get back to work on the old 455 because we gotta get her in Carmen as fast as possible because time is ticking. As always, until next time, keep on wrenching. Peace.